You know, every single language has a story. It's got a history of movement, of conflict, and, hopefully, of survival. So today, we're going to dive into the fascinating story of one particular language. We're going to follow the journey of the Senga people of Zambia to really understand how their unique voice was born and, get this, how it's thriving today.
Okay, let's start with the big question, the one that kicks this whole thing off. How is a language actually born? I mean, it doesn't just poof, appear out of thin air, right? It's forged by history, by where people live, and sometimes by the really clever decisions people make.
So, to get our bearings, our investigation starts right here, in the Muchinga province of northeastern Zambia. This is the homeland of the Senga people, a community of nearly 80,000 speakers.
Now, the language they speak is called Chisenga. And here's the thing, it has no official status, and people often mix it up with other bigger languages in the area. So what is it, really? Is it just a dialect of another language? Some kind of simple mix? Well, the real answer is way more interesting.
You see, to get the story of the language, you first have to understand the people. And let me tell you, the Senga have this absolutely incredible origin story that involves migration, a huge cultural problem, and one of the cleverest, most peaceful coups you'll ever hear about.
Okay, so the Senga story, it actually starts centuries ago. Their ancestors, the Bixa people, they migrated from the Congo region. Then, around the late 1700s, a small group of these Bixa folks ventured across the Luanga River and ended up in Tumbuka territory. The Tumbuka started calling these newcomers Senga, maybe because they settled in the backwoods or something like that, and well, the name stuck.
But this new settlement, it created a huge problem. See, the Senga men started marrying Tumbuka women. Both cultures were matrilineal, which means power and inheritance passed down through the mother's side of the family. This meant any Senga chief's son couldn't inherit. Instead, power would pass to his Tumbuka nephew. You can see the problem, right? The Senga were on the verge of being completely swallowed up.
And this is where the story just gets brilliant. The Senga leader, a guy named Chibiza, he comes up with this genius plan. He invites the big Tumbuka chief to come visit his own grandson, who happened to be Senga. During the visit, they basically force the chief onto his back, a massive cultural symbol of submission, while his young Senga grandson stands right over him. And in that single symbolic move, power was transferred. No war, no violence. And just like that, the Senga people were born as their own distinct group. How clever is that?
So, we've got a brand new people born from this super clever political move. But what about their language? If their history is this cool blend of cultures, what does the linguistic DNA of Chisenga actually look like? Let's take a closer look.
Okay, so to figure this out, linguists have this really cool tool called lexical similarity. Honestly, think of it like a 23andMe for languages, a linguistic DNA test. You compare basic word lists and see what percentage of vocabulary they share. As a general rule, if the score is above 85%, you're probably just looking at two dialects of the same language.
Now, if you ask people in the region, a lot of them will tell you that Senga is just, a simple mix of the two big languages nearby, Tumbuka and Bemba. Sounds plausible, right? Well, when researchers actually ran the tests, the data told a completely different story.
And here it is. This is the hard data that cracks the whole case. Just look at these numbers. Senga shares a whopping 71% of its words with Tumbuka, the very people they cleverly broke away from. But look at Bemba. It's only 45.6%. It's even less similar to its own ancestral language, Biza. This tells you exactly how it evolved into something totally new. So, what's the verdict? Chisenga is its own distinct language. It's not a dialect. And yeah, it's a mix, but it's way more Tumbuka than anything else. About 1.5 times more, in fact. That whole local wisdom thing, turns out it was only half right.
Okay, so we've figured out what Senga is. We've established its identity. But here's the next big question. In a world where small languages are vanishing left and right, how healthy is it today? Let's check its vital signs.
When we talk about the health of a language, linguists use this word viability. And honestly, the number one indicator, the absolute cornerstone of a viable language, is super simple. Are parents speaking it to their kids?
And for the Senga, the answer is a massive, resounding yes. Check this out. A staggering 96%, that's almost everyone, of Senga adults reported speaking only Senga to their children at home. This isn't a language just hanging on. It's the living, breathing heart of the family. In that vitality, it's matched by this incredible confidence in the future. When they were asked if their grandkids would still speak Senga, 100% of them said yes. 100%. You almost never see that kind of certainty.
In this chart, Wow, this really puts their optimism in perspective. Senga speakers were asked if they thought young people were leaving the language. Only 13% said yes. Now look at the Soli, another minority group in Zambia. A heartbreaking 92% felt their language was dying out. The difference is just night and day.
So it's really no surprise that the official linguistic report came to this incredible conclusion. Chisinga is exceptionally viable. In fact, the researchers said it was healthier and more vibrant than any other minority language they had ever studied in the entire country of Zambia. That's amazing. Okay, the diagnosis is crystal clear. Chisinga is in remarkably good health. But what's the long-term prognosis? What challenges are on the horizon for its survival? Because even a super healthy language faces pressures. For starters, there are basically no books written in Senga. School is taught in Chewa, which is a bigger official language. Even in church, the Bibles are in Tumbuka or Bemba. So the language lives almost entirely out loud, in the spoken word, which makes it a little vulnerable in our modern world. And this is why the report highlights something so crucial: development. You see, creating written materials in Senga, books, audio, whatever, wouldn't just be about preserving it. It would give the language official recognition, it would boost literacy, and it would help the Senga people thrive in a world with many languages, without having to lose their own unique voice. You know, the story of the Senga is just this powerful reminder that a language is so much more than just words. It's the story of a people's identity, their ingenuity, and their resilience. And it leaves us with one final question to think about. What incredible stories of survival and creativity are hidden in the languages spoken all around you?